Hey guys, it's Genevieve, and this is my culturally responsive library. So, when I was doing this, I did a total of 50 books. And when it came to gender, out of the 50 books, only 16 of them had female characters, and only 10 of them had male characters. And out of those 16 female characters, half of them had the females being the main character, compared to the males, where only 4 of the 10 books had the males being the main character, which I found to be very interesting. Then when it came to dealing with race and ethnicity, out of the 50 books, only 10 of the books had minority characters. And that was only after I had added up the different type of ethnicities, and out of those ethnicities, only 2 groups ended up being main characters. And of those 2 groups, it was African American and Native and Indigenous people. Compared to white characters, out of the 50 books, there was a total of 13 books, and then out of those 13 books, 8 books had white characters being the main character. Then when it came to looking at the settings, I did notice that majority of the books that my mentor teacher had the settings dealing with on the farm. So there was a total of 7 books that had farms as the main setting, compared to suburban settings where I thought there was going to be a lot more. There were only about 5 or 6 books. Then I also found out that 38% of the books had talking animal characters. And I did notice that the majority of books that I was looking at did have animals. However, they were nonfiction books and mostly informed the students of what different types of animals they were, instead of having the animals be a character or a person. Then when it came to dealing with the issues of race and discrimination, the only book that I could really find that focused on race was Whoever You Are, which deals with different types of cultures and people throughout the world, and each page they focus on different types of culture, which I found to be very interesting, which I really liked. Then when it came to dealing with recognizing people with disabilities and main characters with disabilities, there was also only one book that I could find in the classroom that was called Special People, Special Ways. And the interesting thing about this book is that in the book, they don't talk about one specific type of disability. They go over multiple different types of disabilities and how that might affect the person, but how we're all the same at the end of the day, which I really liked. Then when it came to dealing with books and religion, there were 0 books in my internship classroom that did deal with this. However, my mentor teacher does have her students bring in books from their house, so they can possibly bring in books about like Christmas, since the holidays are coming up, and that way they will be able to read them in class. They just aren't a part of the classroom library. Then last but not least, my students in the class. So I have a total of 14 kids in my class, and girls make up majority of them with a total of 57%. And then when it came to different types of ethnicities, the biggest category out of them all was Asian and Asian American. And then the smallest with 0 was Latinos and Native and Indigenous people, which I didn't really realize until I did this, which I found to be very interesting. Also, how majority of my students are in the class are Asian and Asian American. So that is the end of my culturally responsive library. Thanks for listening.